Very warm welcome. I am very glad to see so many familiar faces this afternoon as we begin this conversation on the ecological civilization. I found this quote earlier this week, and I'm just going to read it because I think it says it better than I would. It says, "No matter how awake or developed one individual might be, a single human being on the world stage can easily be ignored. But if a group of enlightened leaders stand unified together in full transdual awakening, such an effort cannot be ignored." And so this is an opportunity for us to explore some new ground together today and hopefully concretize some conclusions as well. Global Friends is born from an understanding that we live in a different time today, in a different period in human history. And some have called it the Anthropocene age, and I just found this publication earlier this week. And so there's different ways of framing that, this time that we're living in, of transformation and transition. And today we're going to frame it in the terms of an ecological civilization as a vision and a way forwards for us. I've been asked in these remarks to sort of briefly describe what I believe, how I would describe an ecological civilization. And I think if we were to do it in very few words, it would be in harmony with nature. And so an ecological civilization would be in harmony with the way the natural world works. If I were to say there's some other components, I would probably say that an ecological civilization would be one in which we run on clean energy, that we produce our food in a sustainable way, that we manage population growth, and the fourth aspect is spirituality would be a core component in our civilization. We're in the process of transitioning to this other model, which goes by different terms. I've heard holistic being one term used to describe it, regenerative, integral, and they're more sort of, if you were to graph it, they would be more sort of circular as opposed to a linear line. And this shift in awareness, we believe, and we're proposing today, goes through the modality of spirituality. And that what is required is for us essentially to upgrade our spiritual capacities, our human operating system, as it were. If we were to look at ourselves like iPads or iPhones, the task in some senses is to cultivate greater spiritual intelligence and sort of improve our spiritual development and maturity.
Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here. You may have noticed that there's this mysterious orange book has appeared on your table in front of you. I lay claim anything in that book. I wrote it, so if you have a problem with it, I'm the one to confront. Connie here is my partner in that. And I think maybe I'm going to read a very brief part of the foreword here, just to put it in the context of today's work. And we happen to be here because last year Ivan met the woman who wrote the foreword to the book, Sally Ranney, who at the climate change conference in Paris, and then attended in Aspen our day, American Renewable Energy Day. And Connie and Sally go back, I think it's something like 30 years. They're very, very close friends, and she's a powerhouse. And this is just a little lift from the foreword she wrote. She says, "Climate change has unambiguously put humanity on notice that we are on the cusp of great change, of making a critical choice about ourselves. Only collaboration at the global level will solve climate change because it affects all human and natural systems. Nothing and no one will escape. This high level of collaboration can only take place if we let go of the tenets of the existing paradigm." So, subtitle, 10 Assumptions for a New Paradigm. What we will present very briefly today is the idea that The world we see today is a direct result of fundamental assumptions, core beliefs, worldview that we've inherited from generations of our human predecessors. And can we change that? Can we assess those beliefs? Now, we're talking about something extremely foundational, fundamental. The reason we have the problems, the challenges we see, are direct consequences of these beliefs that we hold. Can we, in time, abandon these beliefs? And I would say this, I'm a great believer in crisis, because without the huge crises that our species and our planet is facing today, we'd be sitting around, counting our bank balances or whatever it is that gets us going. And so this book, we believe, contains some useful information. And Ivan, thank you so much for inviting us to this conference. Thank you.
I'm Connie Baxter Marlowe, co-author of the book, and we believe that humanity is out of balance because we don't actually understand how the universe works. So our book brings a construct on the nature of the universe that integrates Eastern and Western thinking and indigenous cosmology. So we look forward to sharing more of that later. Thank you very much.
In the interest of time, I think we'll move on to our third panel, the holistic approach to ecological civilization. Each of our participants, I believe, has some film footage or slides they want to share with us, so I'm going to ask them. We'll go in the order that they are on the program, Andrew and Connie first, and Bob, then Andrew. And take 5 minutes or so to give us your sort of introductory remarks or thereabouts. Please.
Whoa, what an extraordinary outpouring of intelligence, human intelligence here. What a blessing. And as this is the spiritual, is it, or the holistic, or I kind of prefer the word integral because those words are loaded in various ways. They might be considered to be woo-woo. Integral. How do we take these practical boots on the ground, scientific approaches to the issues we face and find a way to change the thinking that has resulted in these issues? Every single one of the challenges is a result of human thinking. And human thinking is 100% a result of what we believe to be true. Every action we take, every thought we think. I think we all know that. So that's the essence of this book. And I'm going to read another brief moment from the book, and it's from we are sitting here on Manhattan Island, which once upon a time was the domain of the Native Americans. And this is just a little opening prayer from the Native Americans. A man named Wayne Eagleboy. He says, "Grandfather, creator of all that exists, with this sacred pipe, hear my prayer. As the new day dawns, let all people begin anew to walk the good red road of life. May we forget our differences. May we remember our likenesses. Let us hear what we have not heard. Let us see what we have not seen. It is the spark of the universe, the oneness of all life. In such a way may we be blessed, blessed in a sacred manner." Aho. So the reason that pretty much says everything I would like to say. It doesn't get any more comprehensive and succinct than that.
That's beautiful.
Table, and that is that we do, in fact, create reality by the power of our consciousness, which John has pointed out very well, the results of addressing human consciousness in boots-on-the-ground effects. So we're defining human consciousness as the active and passive phenomena of awareness, assumption, attitude, attention, alignment, action, and allowing, which determine our frequency and thereby our reality. And with the prevailing core assumptions, we are in a lower frequency. We have a set of assumptions that these several words describe. We believe in separation. We believe in determinism as opposed to free will. We believe in destruction, that the humanity is on a downward spiral. We believe there is such a thing as not love. We believe that it's a mechanistic universe. Many of us, not all of us present, obviously, but the prevailing paradigm, and that we're enmeshed in limited time. This leads to conflict, helplessness, fear, victim mentality, powerlessness, and anxiety. Would anyone say that that sort of describes our current reality? Those characteristics? And we're suggesting a new set of assumptions that calls for that assumes that it is a conscious universe, that there is only love, that there is only free will, that we're on an upward spiral, an evolutionary upward spiral, that if we're in the now, we're in a timeless place, and that we are one. This leads to a reality where everything has meaning, everything is okay, we're powerful, we trust, there's infinite balance and cooperation. John, would you say that that's sort of describes the reality you've been working in? So, what we want to point out is that each frequency has its own laws. That may be a unique thought to everyone. This is not the only game in town. It's the only game in this frequency that the laws look immutable, but they're not. It's just this frequency where they appear immutable. And so Henry David Thoreau has a quote in the conclusion to Walden. I'm sure most of you, or all of you, have heard of Henry David Thoreau. He said, "I learned this, at least, by my experiment," when he stayed at Walden Pond, "that if one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. He will put some things behind, will pass an invisible boundary. New, universal, and more liberal laws will begin to establish themselves around and within him, or the old laws will be expanded and interpreted in his favor in a more liberal sense, and he will live with the license of a higher order of beings." So, here's our 7 A's of consciousness in one sentence. With expanded awareness and accurate assumptions, we choose our attitude and consciously direct our attention, align with our highest inner promptings, take committed action, and allow the loving universe to manifest beyond our wildest dreams. Thank you very much. That's all we have.
Thank you. That's beautiful.
Thank you.